Hello, hello, hello. So I had a request from Mark Dexter to look at this Xbox One X Shadows. Now, this mod is from Skeletor 2017. It's very tiny, 207 bytes. It is supposed to fix abnormal actor neck shadows. So if you remember on my characters, when I'm in the cheat room and I'm showing you sort of close up, you can see a shadow on them. And this is supposed to also fix moving stripe shadows. Now, I thought those shadows were just, the best that you could do in the game, so I never really worried about it. But they say this is a slight visual downgrade overall, however. Most noticeable with grass, making it look lighter and less depth. So, and they say to put this at the bottom of your load order, and it should work with most mods, which if it's at the bottom, it's going to win, so it should work. So we're going to take Mercy to the cheat room and try that out. So I will see you there in a minute. Alright, so I went through some stuff. I want you to see the shadow that Skeletor is referring to. Do you see the shadow on Mercy's neck here? She has this it's kind of a smoky type of shadow, and I've heard some people say they don't like those, and that's okay. I've seen those a lot. You can see some on her arms as well. Let me walk her out. You can see that shadow even here like this, and I can go in closer if I need to, but you get the idea. And she's got like shadow on her arm and on her legs. As I turn, you'll see shadows, and it's those same smoky type of shadows. I think we've seen this for years, so I don't think it's anything really new. But there you go. So that is what the mod is going to remove, okay, according to the instructions, okay? But I want us to get a look at this and see the shadow, because I'm going to take a picture of this, and I'm going to compare this shadow here to the no shadow of that mod. So I'm going to hold Mercy right here, and I'm going to do a save, and we'll come back to this spot after I do a reset with that mod turned on, okay? So I want to try to show this in the best way possible. So I'll be right back. Alright, so something a little odd here. I just want to point this out because it's strange. It may not mean anything, and we're still going to go through and complete our test, but the size here says it's 207 bytes, which we know 207 bytes is very small. But look here, just a moment ago, I happened to come in and I turned this on, and I have it down at the very bottom to make sure that it beats everything else. So just hold on a second. So here it says it's only 128 bytes. I don't know which is accurate. I think this is the actual size according to what's on the disc. What's really there. But I don't know that for sure. So I don't know why this is 128 bytes and the other's 207. Probably doesn't matter. This is probably a very minor change. Maybe this is just as simple as turning the shadows off, and that may be why it kind of affects the grass the way it does. But let's take a look at this. I'm going to complete my test, but I want you to know that it's even smaller here if this is accurate, which I think this is the more accurate size. But I don't know why the two disagree. So, just so you know. Alright. Okay, I'll be right back. Alright, so with the mod turned on, you can now see that she does not have the shadow on her neck. That smoky shadow. And I guess she doesn't have those smoky shadows on her arms or on her legs. I'm not saying she doesn't have any shadow. She has some shading, but it's not the same. It's not that smoky shadow. I don't know how else to say it. This does improve that shadow. It actually eliminates that shadow and gives you a more, I'm going to say it gives you a more realistic shadow. Now, where I have a little shading, it looks more, like I said, more realistic. don't you think? I think that looks a lot more realistic. Now, how badly does it affect my grass? We're going to go take a look, but I have to say, Mercy's shadow and shading looks a lot better. She still has a shadow on the floor, too, if you notice that right there. Well, let's bring her back over here. Well, where can we see it better? We can see it good there. She still has a shadow on the floor, so that looks fine. But her shading herself looks a lot better. She has a little shading on her, a little shadow, but it doesn't look like that weird smoky shadow. Now, they said this was a visual downgrade a little bit, and I don't know. I think she looks okay. I think she looks normal, I think. As near as I can tell, she looks pretty normal. I don't see any drastic difference in her from this change. I think it only affected, or mainly affected, that smoky shadow. Now, there might still be a little shadow, smoky shadow under the boobage there. But even so, it looks fairly light, and I don't think it's as weird looking as the other was. But we'll see. We'll see. We'll give it a little time and see. I think this is pretty good. I may keep this in my load order for a while and give it a whirl. I think everything looks okay with her as near as I can tell right now. Okay? Okay, so that shading, that seems to work pretty good. So I would say if you're really interested in that, it seems to really work for your character. Now what we'll do next is I'm going to pop out to around Whiterun, and we're going to take a look at the grass, see if we really notice an appreciable difference, okay? So this is going to require looking at it before and after. So you have to bear with me, but definitely here you can tell this after. I mean, all you have to do is back the video up and look at the difference in the shading that was on Mercy and the shading that she has now. Looks much more realistic. So we're going to try this and give it a whirl. It may or may not end up staying in my load order, but right now it looks pretty good. So, all right, we'll be back to check out the grass since they mentioned that. Alright, so we're out here to look at some grass. I've turned the mod off, and if you could see Mercy,
I've got your back.
I guess you could see that she has the smokiness. Let me see. Just so you'll know that I'm not just saying it. Hold on a second. Let's pop her armor off. You can see the kind of smoky shadow on her.
I'm right behind you.
That's what I usually have. Marsha is in the way, but you get the idea. You get the idea. That's the smoky shadow that we usually have, right? Okay. So let me put her armor back on. Okay. So anyway,
still here.
We're going to go, and if you just look at this grass, this stuff here, this stuff looks okay. I don't see any big problem with it. But I want to move out here into the field where there's a bunch of this grass around. I want to see if we can tell that much difference. Or is this affecting the shadow of this grass? Because we know that all this grass, all the foliage you see in Skyrim is really 2D, and they just try to shade it and make it look like it's 3D. But we all know it is flat. It is flat 2D. It is not 3D. Okay, let's move out here. Let's look. We'll use this as our example, because I think I can come out here and take a decent picture. Yeah. Let's just try here. We're going to try right here. We'll leave Marsha there. Alright, so I'm going to make a save here. Just going to do a new save here. And we will come right back and look at this here. I'm also going to take a quick screenshot. Okay, so we'll come back and take a look at this when we've turned the mod on and done a reset. So I will see you in a moment.
Go, go, go!
Okay, so I think I see what they're talking about. The grass is lighter in color because the shading has been removed. If you look here, you can see that it is lighter. Now I'm going to show you the pictures we took. I took one just now a second ago. Let me show you that. Okay, so this is going to be the first one before when we had this mod turned off. And I'm going to make it full screen, okay? So give it a moment. Okay, so see the darkness of it? You see how it looks. Ignore Marsha, she's crazy. But you see the grass, it's got some shading and darkness to it, right? Okay. Now, see here, all that shading and darkness is gone because the shadows are gone. So let me take us over here and do another thing here. Let's see. Let's do this one. This is the picture we just took. And you see how light that is. And that's where we're standing right now. It's just really light. So it does lighten your grass. Does it really affect the look of your grass? Not terribly. Not terribly. But it does lighten it because it removes the shadows. And I wonder if it doesn't remove some of the shadow from other things. But it definitely removes some of the shadow from your grass, so your grass is lighter. Not a terrible trade-off, though, I have to say. I mean, I can still see my grass. It still has different shades. And I don't really have a problem with that. I'm just trying to figure out if that's something that bothers me or not. I don't think it does. You notice how the grass, it's not as dark, but it looks fine. So I think this will be okay. I think we will be okay to just go with this grass and this mod as it is, and it gets rid of that weird shading. And I'll show you again on Mercy how that's gone. It does make your grass a little lighter in color, okay? But let's take her armor off again, and I will just show you real fast that, oh, wrong one. I was close. See, now she has like natural, normal shading. She doesn't have that heavy, smoky shading that was going on. This is more normal and natural. So, you know, I think that makes that mod worthwhile to me, so I may keep that around. That's a pretty good mod. Let me go and bring that up for you. Alright, so the mod here, Xbox One X Shadows, that's what we've been looking at, by Skeletor 2017. Now this says it's 207 bytes, but I want to show you again that when you put it in over here, and mind you, this is just a list, like an index or a table of contents of what you have. This isn't exactly showing you how your data is stored. But this Shadows is 128B. I think this may be the actual size of the mod. I don't know that for sure, but I think it may be. Hard to be sure, though. Anyway, it does clear up those neck shadows, but in removing those shadows, it does remove the shadows from your grass, so your grass is lighter colored. I'm going to go with that for a while, and I'm going to live with it and just see what I think about it. I don't mind if some of my games are a little brighter, because I think sometimes the recordings are a little darker, so I try to do things to offset that. So you'll have to let me know what you think. But again, this was requested by Mark Dexter. I'm trying to do better on the requests, folks. Sorry about that. But I did remember to write down the name, and so that's this. Xbox One X Shadows, very tiny mod. Appears to do just what it says it does, and they do say that it does mess up your grass a little bit. We could tell a difference. So you'll have to decide what's more important to you. Alright, thanks for watching. Hope you have a wonderful day, and I will catch you later. Live and love. Woo! Live and love. Beware the man handler. Yeah. $39. My goodness. Okay, for a magazine, $39. Yeah, we better have some manhandling going on. Good Lord.